Hey everyone, quick video. We got to talk about the Oilers McDavid extension. We're also going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs claiming two players, a skater and a goalie off waivers. We're going to talk about the waiver claims and just overall the upcoming news. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I hope you subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. But yeah, the McDavid one. I talked about it on CB24, gave a bit of my breakdown. Long story short, this is what it is. McDavid feels the responsibility to win. He didn't want to put all the pressure in 1 year in terms of winning at Edmonton. Because how much of a disaster would it be if he doesn't sign? And then you look at June, they get eliminated, and McDavid could be walking in a couple weeks. So this is a good balance of Connor McDavid signing for such a team-friendly deal. $12.5 million on what was his current cap hit. Kaprizov just signed for $17 million per. Like, this is a massive, massive team-friendly deal. It gives the Oilers 3 years, a 3-year window to win the Stanley Cup. If you don't win in those 3 years, then you don't deserve to have Connor McDavid. That's the reality of the situation. Connor McDavid, $12.5 million, with the cap going up over $100 million next year. This is a massive, massive deal for the Edmonton Oilers. At the end of the day, if you win a cup or even 2 cups with Connor McDavid, yeah, it'd be sad. It'd suck to see him go, but you won Stanley Cups. So I think that's the goal here. Connor McDavid, he might stay with the Edmonton Oilers for his career, but I think there's a real opportunity for McDavid to win a cup or 2 in this timeline. I said, as much as people want to get on me, I wasn't part of the crowd that said McDavid was 100% going to leave. I was always, if somebody asked me and on my videos, I said, I thought Connor McDavid would stay. That was my take. Of course, I thought there was the possibility of maybe McDavid looking at something else if the Oilers screwed the pooch. But with Chris Knobloch's extension and the Oilers putting the commitment around McDavid right now, I think this made a lot of sense for both sides. So McDavid, 2 years, $12.5 million, $25 million total. I think after this in 2028, there's a possibility of him leaving, but I don't think there's a possibility of him leaving if he doesn't win in Edmonton, which is ironic. It's like, hey, if you don't win, if you can't figure it out, then you leave. No, I think McDavid, like, he feels that responsibility, like he has to win a cup for Edmonton. He has to. And I think that's going to happen. So just to give you guys a quick outlook, the Oilers have, going into next free agency, 2026 free agency with a massive class, the Oilers have a lot of cap flexibility. Yeah, they have no goaltending situation, but they could go after a goalie. So I wonder if the Oilers are going to make a big splash for a goalie for next year. They might just, hey, go. We got Ingram, we got Skinner, we got Pickard. We got to figure it out for this year. But the next 2 years, you got to get a legit goalie. I think the Oilers do that. They have most of their forward group locked up going into next year as well. So that's the conversation. But just to quickly transition into the Leafs, we're not making it about the Leafs. It actually is a Leaf thing. So the Leafs make a couple claims here. Sammy Blais, a guy that is definitely familiar with Craig Berube's former team, St. Louis Blues. So I think that's a factor here. Like, I think the fact that Craig Berube knows Sammy Blais, knows what he brings, he could be on the 4th line for Toronto, especially with the Scott Laughton injury. I think Blais going to get an opportunity to be on that 4th line. If Berube looks at the situation and goes, okay, I like Blais' offensive potential over a guy like Yarncrow who hasn't had that offensive output recently, that's an opportunity for more of a heavy 4th line. So I think that is going to be seen as maybe an upgrade over Pezzetta for that big presence. Obviously, Pezzetta's more of the fighter, but Blais, bigger dude, right? And Cayden Primeau, maybe this is the kind of sign that James Reimer's not going to sign with Toronto after all in terms of a real contract. Of course, the Leafs got him on a PTO. I thought he was fine against Detroit in that final preseason game, so I don't think there's any knock on Reimer, but Cayden Primeau being a bit of the younger option, of course, now in the mid of his 20s, like, I think he was kind of that highly sought after guy out of Montreal, and Montreal thought they had a future goalie in him, and it just didn't pan out, and then now they have Fowler. But Toronto, I think they have a good opportunity for Primeau to be the backup instead of Hildeby, and Hildeby be the guy in the Marlies. Like, we'll see. Maybe it doesn't pan out that way, but I think if you are the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, one, it's a bad thing because this is kind of a sign to me that Joseph Woll is going to be out for a while, which is a really sad situation. I hope whatever he's dealing with or whatever his family's dealing with, I hope they're going to be okay. You look at the Leafs in terms of the hockey right now, it's Stolarz 1, and then probably Primeau, Hildeby 2, 3, or Primeau, and if they keep Reimer, we'll see. But I think this is an opportunity for goaltending depth in the wake of whatever's going on right behind the scenes. So Primeau, Blais to Toronto. Curtis Douglas, just some size to Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is trying to revive something here, but he could be just a shit disturber 4th liner, and then Colton Ellis to Buffalo. So give me your thoughts, guys. I think the Leafs definitely could run with Sammy Blais on the 4th line. We'll see what scenario. I also wonder, though, do the Leafs have a trade cooking with Nick Robertson on his way out? That's what this could also mean, because maybe it's a scenario where Nick Waugh jumps into that 3rd line, Domi on the wing, because right now Robertson's on that wing, and I can show you guys quickly. This is what the line is looking like right now. So Domi, Robertson, Joshua, Lorentz, Waugh, Yarncrow. So maybe it's a scenario where Robertson gets moved, And then Waugh jumps to that spot, and it's Joshua, Waugh, and Domi as the third line, which I actually think is a great third line in terms of balance, right? You have Waugh and Joshua who can put the puck in the back of the net, more defensive, and Domi obviously sometimes has his liabilities, but great playmaker, has a bit of that edge to his game. And then your fourth line in that scenario could be Lorentz, Yarncrow, and Sammy Blais, maybe. We'll see. I do want to see if Robertson get another opportunity, but it's been such a mishandling of this situation. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the McDavid contract and all this good stuff. We'll see you on the next video or stream. Peace.